What's going on, guys? This is Riggs. Welcome back to the channel. And in this video, what we're going to be talking about is how to control recoil, or how to better control recoil to improve your gameplay. And I'll share with you guys a couple tips and tricks that have helped me tremendously improve my gameplay, not only from actually where you're positioning yourself on the screen and fighting the recoil using your joystick, but also what attachments are going to help you that are available in the game for specific loadouts. So we'll also go ahead and get into that. But before we get into the video, start breaking everything down, I urge you to subscribe to the channel. If you are new here, I'm coming out with Pubg mobile content for you guys every single day. And I'm also starting to live stream, so make sure you hit that notification bell. And just one more quick announcement I want to get out to you guys is I want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to everybody that supported me and my team in the Star Challenge. We were part of Team Daylight. So big shout out to Irish, Jasper, Raiden, Arceus, and of course myself. Unfortunately, we didn't make it. I think we got like 17th or 18th place, somewhere in there, maybe 19th place out of 20. We're much hotter day one than we were day two, and I mean it was a freaking mess. Put it this way: our last round, our fourth match, 4 out of 4. We ended up doing a duo. There's only me and Jasper. The match started an hour early. It was a complete mess. But yeah, I mean, better luck next time. But I do want to thank Pubg Mobile and Tencent, and of course the Esports League for putting this event on. It was a ton of fun. I got a bunch of experience doing it, and I even ended up in the freaking game. But yeah, so again, thank you everybody who supported my team and of course myself and the channel. Cannot thank you enough. All right, guys. So as far as recoil, what I do to help myself. Now, you guys have to understand, Pubg, like many games, it's all about balance, nerfs, buffs, trying to not make anything more OP than what it has to be. So something like an AK. It is a spraying machine. It shoots a 7.62 round, and it deals a ton of damage. Now, in order for the game to combat that, and how it is actually in real life, is there is a lot of recoil on an AK. So it's just something that you're going to have to practice. And I always urge you guys in all my videos to go ahead and go to the shooting range. Now, for those of you guys wondering what muzzle attachments, we already know the number one muzzle that everybody wants to throw on their gun is, of course, going to be the suppressor. Not a silencer, but a suppressor for that muzzle. You know, you can't see the flash. The sound is minimized. But I'm telling you guys, to combat recoil, you're going to want to go with a compensator every single time. It controls 20% of the vertical and the horizontal recoil. Now, the recoil that you're actually trying to combat the most is the horizontal recoil. That's the recoil that goes from left to right. The vertical recoil, which is up and down, you can actually combat that using your joystick. So that's definitely going to be a pro tip right there. You see a compensator, make sure you pick it up. Another big example is going to be when you should be hip firing and controlling that recoil, and whether you are going to be going full auto and what magnification you should have on your optic, or, and this is where I've started to grow myself, when you should tap fire to control recoil. So as far as distances, and this is on any one of the guns, whether it's SMG, whether you're using an M4, or whether you're using an AK, or any of the QBZ, any of the fully automatic assault rifles or submachine guns, to go full auto, I would say, give or take, I would say about 50 meters or less. Anything more than that, you should be able to see the person and have plenty of time to go ahead and scope in and take your shots. With an AK, the highest I'll go for optics is a 2X, maybe a 3, but I'm not going to go full auto with a 3X. But 2X, red dot or hollow, you can go full auto with an AK, with an M4. I mean, you can even get away with maybe a 4X. I know I've had some gameplay on the channel, I've used a 4X going full auto for maybe 80 meters, give or take. You're obviously not going to be landing all those shots. The more magnified your optic is, the harder it's going to be to control that recoil, the further the target is away. So that's when I would suggest tap firing to help you control that recoil. Now, for the submachine guns, and again, it's all about balance. For the submachine guns, like the Vector, like the UMP, which is my favorite weapon in the game right now. The UMP got a huge buff in the last update. I'm winning all kinds of gunfights using the UMP, which is a 9mm ammo. That's going to have less recoil. It is a much smaller round. A 9mm is a much smaller round than a 223, or it's not 223 in the game, 5.56, and of course 5.56 being smaller than 7.62. The heavier the round, typically, for argument's sake, the heavier the round, the more recoil that it's going to produce. The lighter the round, the less recoil. That's why the UMP is a favorite amongst many pros right now, because it not only deals a ton of damage, but the fact that it basically doesn't have recoil. So we've covered the optics, definitely red dot and a 2X if you're going to be trying to spray under scope. And of course, you're seeing, as you guys are watching this, you're seeing a lot of examples of me hip firing, just like in this one right here, using the QBZ. When you're hip firing, you're not worried about obviously scoping in. You're within 5 to 30 meters away. But yeah, for optics, red dot, hollow, or a 2X. Anything more than that, I would highly suggest you tap fire to help you control that recoil. If you have the 2X, make sure you're controlling it. Again, you can't control the horizontal recoil, but you can control the vertical recoil by using that joystick. Now, the other big one is attachments before we wrap up this video. Without a doubt, my favorite attachment in the game right now is going to, for spraying, which is AKA full auto, is going to be the half grip. I also love the vertical foregrip as well. And then I would say the thumb grip. The angle foregrip, not my favorite, and especially the light grip, still not my favorite. But yeah, and half grips and vertical foregrips you should be able to find. It is a very, very, very common spawn. One thing about the AK, and of course the M16, which is burst, so I haven't even really covered that. This is mainly on full auto, controlling the recoil on full autos. With an AK, all you can really put on your weapon to help you control recoil, besides your fingers and how you're controlling it on the screen, is using that compensator. And of course, the reason why something like an M4 is pretty much an absolute favorite, because you can have a compensator on there to help you control recoil. You can throw a foregrip on there that's going to help you control recoil. And of course, you have the tactical stock. So without a doubt, the M4, if you're going to be trying to spray, definitely the M4 is going to be a favorite. But of course, any of the SMGs with the 9mm. And of course, make sure you guys go to the range and get that practice in. It's going to help a ton, you guys. But until next video, this has been Riggs.